introduce myself. I'm Jeff Moyer. I'm a strength and conditioning coach at Victory Sports Medicine, also a assistant football coach for Coach Green at Skaneateles High School. I've been a coach of physical preparation for about going on 7 years now. Formally, my background is, I don't have a formal education in the exercise science or strength and conditioning, but so through that, I learned from coaches, learned from experience. It wasn't really until I got an assistant coaching job at Hamilton College where I learned about overseas Eastern Bloc Soviet training. I was introduced to Zadzorsky, Dr. Yessis, Merkashansky, Mel Sif, and so on. And I started just reading on my own. I was introduced to Westside Barbell, was heavily influenced by Westside Barbell and their knowledge. Went out, I spent several visits, weekends with Louis Simmons out in the Westside. And then it was through reading on Elite Fitness that I came across Yosef's name. From there, I looked up his website, Ultimate Athlete Concepts, purchased a whole bunch of Dr. Yessis' books and Dr. Anatoly's book, Transfer of Training. From there, I started writing emails to Yosef through his website, just asking questions about his books, his products, and Yosef was kind enough to correspond back, and corresponding through email turned into phone calls about topics, about training, this and that. I learned that Yosef had apprenticed or learned under Dr. Yessis for, 15 to 20 years or something like that. And so through that, I learned a lot of Dr. Yessis' methods. And then when I got the job at Victory Sports Medicine, I left Hamilton College, came to Victory Sports Medicine, was hired from Coach Green to train his team this past off-season starting in November. I didn't want to use a Westside method with young high school athletes. I didn't want to use, starting off, these are low-level athlete kids that had no previous, real previous training, except for a couple, Tim's son Troy being one of them. But I just didn't think that was necessary, and just kind of wanted to learn more about what I could do with these young kids and get the biggest bang for my buck. And so I started, with my correspondence with Yosef, I decided to ask him what he does, what methods he learned from Doc and he's been using with his athletes. And with Troy Green was our starting quarterback last year at Skaneateles. Suffered an elbow injury in the middle of, I believe it was the second half of our second or third game, throwing a pass. In the middle of the pass, his elbow, he suffered the injury, had to have surgery, had screws put into his elbow. And he did it through where I work, Victory Sports Medicine, with Dr. Mark Petropoli, who did a fellowship under Dr. James Andrews. So he was very knowledgeable in working with overhead throwing athletes. Once Troy started, after the season, we started getting into the off-season training. I wanted to do, I made a pledge to do everything in my power to try to get Troy back and better to what he previously was, injury-free, of course. So that's when I decided to ask Yosef about, how would it be possible to get Dr. Yessis to work with Troy. Yosef was kind enough to help me and put me in touch with Dr. Yessis, and that's how we came to working together. As soon as we got the green light from Dr. Yessis, and Coach Green, was kind enough to believe in me, do his research, and found out that Dr. Yessis is definitely the man to go to. We flew right out there with offensive coordinator Coach Sindoni. Troy and I flew out there, spent a couple of days with Dr. Yessis, and the results have been, with Troy, remarkable. I mean, he's injury-free with his elbow. He's throwing well. We got him down from, a 4.78 to a 4.63. Not really having a complete off season because due to his injury and rehab, and due to his elbow not being able to do some even lower body exercises. as I was saying, the results have been remarkable. The average 40 time taken off following Doc and Yosef's recommendations with the team, because I didn't just use it with Troy, I used it with the rest of the team, has been about almost a quarter of a second off our kids. Broad jumps have gone up on average, single leg broad jumps over 9 inches per leg. The average squat per kid has been about 120 pounds. Average bench press about 140. Average body weight has been about a 15-pound increase, even though Troy's now lost a whole bunch of weight with all the training and the doubles and everything like that. But in my short career here, being a strength and conditioning coach, working at the college and high school in private setting, I've never seen a program that gets this greater results as efficiently as it does. The amount, Troy can speak to it, the amount of running that we did was very minimal. It was a lot of specialized exercises to improve certain aspects of running through Doc's active cords and whatnot. His explosive jumps, explosive plyometrics, true plyometrics, really helped Troy and the rest of the program, really physically develop. And then it wasn't just the general exercises that Doc helped us with, or helped me with Troy. It was we also helped with the throwing motion. We tore that down from scratch, and that was quite the process. We're having to rebuild Troy's computer, so to speak, with the throwing, breaking down from its most, tiniest parts, starting from the feet all the way up to the upper body. Doc helped with Troy's running motion and his cutting actions. It was a complete program that Doc helped Troy with. It was not just for his elbow. Because anyone, Doc can tell you from his, especially from his biomechanic expertise, it wasn't the elbow that was the problem. It was his throwing motion. It was a culmination of a whole bunch of things. And I could talk all day about this, but I was astonished at the results the team has.